Hi everyone, welcome back to FoodCrafts. If you saw my recent meatball experiment video, then you know I've been working on the meat that is a ball. After several experiments and countless nights of spaghetti and meatballs, I'm finally ready to show off a little, or should I say giant, meatball recipe. Today we're going to be making giant mozzarella stuffed meatballs, perfect as a party appetizer or a family dinner. Not only will these meatballs take less than an hour to make from start to finish, but you'll save yourself some dishwashing time as this is a one-pan dish. The recipe today is going to make 3 giant meatballs, so scale the recipe as needed for how many you need. Before we start mixing our meatballs, we're going to start by chopping and mincing some parsley, basil, garlic, and some yellow onion as flavor components. Afterwards, let's start by getting out a large mixing bowl. If you watched my last video, then you understand the importance of a panade when it comes to making juicy and moist meatballs. We'll start by adding a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, 1 tablespoon each of finely chopped fresh parsley and basil, 1 clove of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of minced yellow onion, and a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. And finally, some grated cheese. Feel free to add as much or as little as you like. The grated Parmesan adds saltiness and sharpness. Go ahead and give that a good whisking. We'll start with our dry ingredients first to make it easier to evenly incorporate flavor into our meatballs rather than starting with ground meat first. Now that our dry ingredients are evenly mixed, crack in 1 large egg and add a 1/4 cup of milk. Give your flavor-packed panade another good whisking until everything is well incorporated. Now, we're finally going to add our meat, which is going to be a 1/2 pound of 80/20 ground beef and a 1/2 pound of ground pork. Put some gloves on because it's time to get our hands dirty. We're going to gently mix the panade into our ground meat. A good tip when making meatballs is not to compact your meat mixture, which will result in a tough and hard meatball. Don't squeeze the mixture, but instead move the mixture around the bowl with your hands. Once you think your mixture is ready to go, it's time to form our ball of meat. Now, of course, this is a stuffed meatball recipe. We're going to take a chunk of mozzarella and put it in the center of our meatball. The easiest way to do this is by gently pressing the mixture into a flat circular disc and placing the mozzarella right in the middle. Bring the sides of your meatball disc to the top and cover your mozzarella. This will ensure your mozzarella is right in the middle of your meatball and won't ooze out during the cooking process. Another tip is to use gravity and drop the meatball between your hands and gently press the meatball to give it some strength. That way, it won't fall apart during the searing process. Speaking of which is the next step. Before we put our meatballs in the oven, we're going to develop some flavor on the surface by searing our meatballs and creating a Maillard reaction. This is going to lock in the moisture that we've worked so hard to create from our panade. Be gentle and use enough oil because the last thing we want is a broken meatball stuck to the bottom of our pan. After you're satisfied with the searing job, take your stainless steel or cast iron pan and stick it in the middle rack of a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 30 minutes or until your meatballs have reached an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. But before the 30 minutes are up, we're going to heat up our sauce. So after about 20 minutes or so, we're going to take our meatballs out of the oven to add our tomato sauce. Now I'm using Rouse, but feel free to use your favorite jarred tomato sauce. We're adding the tomato sauce now to synchronize the finish of our meatballs and heating our sauce. Now put your meatballs back in the oven until they're fully cooked through. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, if you could like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, technically, you could stop right here, rip up some bread, and enjoy your meal as is, but this is a food channel, and this just isn't going to suffice without proper garnishment. So, we're going to top our meatballs with a little finely chopped parsley and grated Parmesan cheese. And now, our meatballs are complete, and let me tell you, the video does not do this dish enough justice. The smell of the tomato sauce and the roasted meatball combined with the rustic look of serving a dish in the pan it was cooked in is really getting my appetite going. Also, the red, white, and green colors of this dish symbolizing the Italian flag just makes so much sense. As we cut into our first meatball, I can confirm these are definitely fork tender meatballs, and the cheese has melted perfectly. Just take a look at this stretch test. Absolute cinema. And lastly, the taste of these meatballs are comforting but not overpowering. A perfect appetizer to get the party started. I hope you all enjoyed the video and learned something today about making meatballs. If you want to see more content from my channel, consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting the like button. Until my next video, I will see you all next time.